All right, good morning. Uh, I'm Andy Pollock from Coastal Neighbors Network, and we are speaking this morning with Roger Mandel, who is from Design Art Technology, or DATMA as it's called, and also, affiliated with RISD, if I'm not mistaken, and Steve Keichel's brother-in-law. So all these wonderful connections. I'm going to hand it over to Roger. I'm going to make you host. And please introduce yourself, Roger, and the projects that you've been working on. They sound, last year's art installation in downtown New Bedford was monumental, and looking forward to seeing more about what you're going to be doing this year.
Thank you. Delighted to be here, Andy, and thanks for the invitation. My name is Roger Mandel. I am the chair of the board and the founder of a new arts and design organization in New Bedford, officed in New Bedford, but really serves Fall River and the region, that has been in existence since 2016, and now is in its second year of programming. My presentation will take you through a bit of what we did last year and what our plans are for this year, and tell you a little bit about our aspirations for the future, and then ask you for questions, and let's have a discussion. My presentation will probably last about 10 to 12, 15 minutes, and will be illustrated. And so now I will share my screen with you, and we'll begin my talk. Do you all see in the center of your screen the word enlighten? Can you see it?
Yes.
The rest of you see it too, please?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, good. All right, just making sure we're all
Yes.
connected.
Yeah.
So enlighten is the theme of our 2020 programs. Light is Light 2020. Our program themes that the Board of Trustees and our Executive Director have chosen are very large ones. Last year was wind, and you'll find out why. This year, 2020, is light, and 2021 will be water, and 2022, we're thinking about land and community and so on. We are known as Design Art Technology Massachusetts, or DATMA. If you go on our website, DATMA.org, you can learn lots more about us and get some updates through our social media. And our mission is to present contemporary art with the convergence of design, art, and technology through exhibitions, performances, and education for all ages and all cultural backgrounds in the South Coast region and beyond. Our live programs and our digital programs mix, and we reach others around the world through our social media, on which we broadcast all of the programs we're doing locally. Our idea is to think about the arts and design and technology of the future coming together, because almost all artists and designers are now affected in one way or another with new technologies. If they're not using digital technology in the making of their art, they're certainly influenced by the information that comes to them over the internet in one way or another that helps connect them with the arts and design from around the world, and with the cultural, political, emotional aspects of the world at large. Certainly our knowledge, gained knowledge of the environment is now affecting artists in the way they think. And this is much more available to them than it ever has been before. We're not a collecting institution. We're not planning to acquire works of art from the past, because we're always thinking forward. We're always thinking about art that's yet to be made. And we want to sponsor, commission artists who do new work that helps stretch them as well. We're a 501c3 organization. We were founded in 2016. We have an office at the Co-Creative Center on Union Street in New Bedford. Here's a list of our board of directors. Perhaps you know some of them. You can see that many of them come from this area, but others live in Boston, or some live in various parts of the world, but have their interests center on the South Coast. We have an executive director, our only full-time staff person at the moment, Lindsay Misch, who is herself an artist, a jewelry artist, who graduated from UMass Dartmouth and spent her first professional years working at the New Bedford Art Museum. She went on to become the head of the annual exhibitions, or the biannual exhibitions, of the Boston Crafts Center, and did that for a number of years before we were able to lure her back to New Bedford. Our first program last year, 2019, was called Summer Winds. That was the theme. And it was really about the new dynamics of technology that were beginning to bring the third industrial revolution to New Bedford. The first being whaling, that you all know about and is celebrated at the Whaling Museum and is part of our cultural and economic history. The second was the Industrial Revolution at the middle and end of the 19th century that brought textiles and glass and jewelry and furniture to this area. And the third is perhaps the dawning of the technological era with the wind turbines that are going to be built offshore with the center of the economy in New Bedford and in Fall River. So we chose wind as our first theme, and our first project that we brought to New Bedford was a commissioned work by Poetic Kinetics of Los Angeles called Silver Current. It was this large cloud of mylar that was strung over the park at Custom House Square in the center of downtown New Bedford. It was 7,000 square feet of this mylar material, a brand new material that hadn't even been tested before it was used by Poetic Kinetics. And they designed this project using digital technology, using a number of advisors who could tell them about the stresses that the wind would pose on this suspended piece and so on, to guarantee that it would remain in place throughout the summer. Many events took place, including, as you can see in this picture, weddings underneath this umbrella of that made a marvelous noise when the wind blew through it and light reflected on the ground. We had musical events, we had dance events, we had farm fairs that went on underneath it, and so on, all summer long. People picnicked under it, and it created a new sense of energy. At the end of the summer, when this was finally over, we did an economic impact study, and we found that the businesses in the area, the restaurants, the shops, and so on, recorded as much as a 25% increase in traffic and in volume of sales. We had an enormous amount of coverage in our social media and in advertising and so on, with articles in national publications in Boston, Providence, etc. Patrick Schern, who is the head of the Poetic Kinetics organization, was in Providence several times to install it, to make presentations about it, and so on. They went on after Poetic Kinetics work in New Bedford to their next large project, which has certainly put us excuse me, in the global network of their art. To celebrate the 50th anniversary of the takedown of the Berlin Wall, they installed this extraordinary Skynet in Berlin, connected to the Berlin Gate. And it had millions of people visit it over the course of that installation. In addition to what we did in the center of New Bedford at Custom House Square, we invited all the other arts organizations excuse me, to hold exhibitions, do performances, as the Symphony did. The Zeiterion showed films, as did the South Coast Film Forum. all relating to wind. The Whaling Museum did an exhibition that for the first time in some 25 years brought out their collection of Dutch and Flemish 17th and 18th century sailing paintings in an exhibition that was called Die Wind is Op. Now this year, our theme is light, as I said. Light 2020 is our theme. And these are some of the graphic images you'll see that will celebrate in our publicity this theme of light. Designed by Medium Studios, a graphic design firm that we have hired to do all of our promotional and graphic materials in New Bedford. A wonderful group of artists. Well, how did we manage to pull that off? If the Art Museum is closed, the Whaling Museum is closed, the Zeiterion is closed, what we did was to plan for events that would be outside. We don't have a building as a liability, as it turns out at this point. And so we were free to choose artists whose work could be seen from the outside, free, and on the occasion that an individual or a group of people driving in a car or walking on the street could see this without exposing themselves to COVID-19. Our first artist that we have commissioned is a woman by the name of Soo-Sunny Park, Korean-American woman who is a professor at Dartmouth College, who is even right now at this very moment installing a work of art in the Star Store in a corner of the building with floor-to-ceiling windows that will allow people to see this exhibition from the outside in. And this is her work that you can see. It's a kind of chain link fence in which she installs these wonderful translucent and reflective pieces of material. And this is a close-up of that installation that shows you the wonderful color qualities of it. And here you can see it installed in another location in which she has made exhibitions. This is the building that you know, the Star Store building in downtown New Bedford, where the university has its art department. And they have given over the first floor corner room to us. They've created a gallery there for us. And we have installed Soo-Sunny Park's work there. And you'll be able to walk by on Purchase and Union Streets and look in or see the light that's projected at night on the street from inside out. The other group that we've commissioned to work this summer is a group called Masari. They're from Boston. They're a new group of artists that have come together that do these extraordinary light projections and performances, mostly at night, because they work with light projected on buildings and architecture. This is a bridge in Cincinnati that they illuminated. This is a couple of their team doing some guerrilla light projections at night. And here is one of these guerrilla projections in a neighborhood. Right now, they have been going around showing images of George Floyd and other Black martyrs on buildings all over Boston, driving by, projecting them, and then moving on. Our commission work that we're developing with them is related to the fishing heritage of New Bedford. It's called Vessels, and they've been going around taking these wonderful images of the boats in the harbor out at sea, working with the fishermen, and we have been collaborating on this project with the Fishing Heritage Center that has been introducing the artists from Masari to all the fishing boat owners and fishermen. They've even made trips and taken photographs and recordings in the ice house. And here's Ryan Edwards, one of their team, out on a boat making recordings of the water. In addition to the projections, these are all sound motivated as well. These digital projections will be films, photographs, all blended together in 5-minute programs that will repeat over a course of an evening many, many times. and will be projected on the sides of 3 locations in downtown New Bedford, starting on the 1st of July and ending at the middle of July. This is one of the, here are a couple of the images that Masari has put together that will be blended into these digital projections.
Oh, wow.
This is a wonderful projection that will look extraordinary on the building that it will be projected upon. It's a black and white image of these clouds with birds flying through that they've mixed together. And this is another image of the beautiful, colorful, and rude architecture of these massive fishing boats that are out every day in the sea on behalf of New Bedford's economy with these brave people on them. Aren't these gorgeous? They're like paintings.
Yeah.
Just gorgeous.
And these will all be blended together on these projections. Now, the buildings that they've chosen and we are working with are the Webster Bank that is on the corner of Pleasant and Union. There is a building, and I don't know the name of it, that's been torn down on Union Street, and there's a fence across the front of it, but there are 3 walls, some with windows, some blank, that will be projection screens for the second of these programs. And the third will be on the wall of the new Whaling Museum building that faces Union Street, looking over Paul Cuffey Park. And each one will have for 2 weeks these projections every night. So people can drive by, they can walk by, they're going to a restaurant, they can go out and take a tour and see them. Mm. One other program that we're working on this year, when the Greater New Bedford Vocational Technical High School opens, will be a light sculpture that students working with sculptors and with their instructors are going to install in downtown New Bedford. The mayor approached DATMA and asked us if we would create a light sculpture to celebrate the Year of Light for the city. And we decided it would be fun to work with students and give them the challenge of coming up with this design. And so we have had 3 critiques with these students during the part of the year when school was still open. And they are working in 4 teams. And one of those teams will have their work chosen. And then over the course of the fall and the winter, they will build this installation and install it in downtown New Bedford somewhere. We're very excited about working with these students. I've been to these critiques, and these kids are very motivated and they're very focused. This is part of a class project, but it's also an after-school project, and they're taking it very seriously. Here are some of the other program partners we're working with in downtown New Bedford to collaborate on various aspects of Light 2020. I won't take the time now to go through all of the things they're doing, from the library carrying books about light, the ballet trying to figure out a program that they can do outside to celebrate light. The city of New Bedford has been absolutely marvelous, working with us in a number of ways to help facilitate these installations, and so on. So that's my presentation. We're a small organization. We're very limber. We move quickly. We are dedicated to bringing ideas for design and technology and art together, inviting artists from outside our community to come here and do new things and challenge people to collaborate with us to grow and develop along with the economy as it's changing rapidly as we move forward. As I said, our theme for this year is light, next year is water. 2022 hasn't been decided, but it may have something to do with earth and with community. And we feel that our role is to bring things from the outside in to collaborate with others, and to make sparks. And we would appreciate your support. Thank you very much.
That was wonderful.
That was wonderful.
Thank you.
That will be so much fun to see. What?
Well, I hope you'll come and see it and give us your comments.
Okay.
Big question is when?
Yeah, how do we find out?
Sue Sunny Park's installation will open on the 20th of June at the Star Store, and Masari starts on the 1st of July. And check our website, DATMA.org, DATMA.org, and you'll find all the details about all of these programs from that. Do you have any questions?
I just want
You must coordinate somehow with, maybe with AHA Night too? Is
Oh,
AHA Night still going on? Maybe that's been canceled.
Well, they're doing things virtually now, but we did last year have a special AHA night about wind, and we had a children's program that they got Lego to sponsor for it. It was a wonderful collaboration, but we do work with Lee Heald a lot.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Last summer we went down and saw the Mylar exhibit installation. It was just lovely. So I look forward to what you guys are going to do this year.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Roger,
That sounds really exciting. Looking forward to seeing it.
Great. Well, tell your friends. You can come down anytime on your own. As you know, gathering is not permitted, but you can bring as many friends as you can muster and enjoy seeing it. You can see the Sioux Sunny Park during the day, but I think it'll be more dramatic seen at night, as will, of course, the projections of Masari. And you
How
can,
long are how long are those going to go on for?
Sioux Sunny Park will be on view all through the summer, through the middle of September. And Masari will just be 3 weeks during the middle of the summer. Now, one thing I forgot to mention, since water is our theme for 2021, Masari will be doing a performance, I think, on Pier 3, right behind the Black Whale Restaurant, along that harbor front where those fishing boats are, in sometime during the summer of 2021. And that will be projections on the boats with live music and performers.
That's cool.
So we've actually got a 2-year contract with Masari.
wow.
That is wonderful.
Roger, could you speak to how you came up with this concept of bringing art to New Bedford?
Well, my wife and I have always been in the arts. My wife is an artist and an interior designer, so she's an art design person. My parents were both.
No, it's not ours.
My parents were both designers.
Somebody else.
At one point, I wanted to be a designer. Have an art history background. I worked for almost a half a century in art museums, and then became president of RISD. I was president of RISD for 15 years, and of course that has a wonderful museum in Providence, but it also has all these wonderful, crazy artists and designers in a community together. After RISD, I was invited by the Emir of Qatar in the Middle East to become the head of the Qatar Museums Authority, and I spent 4 years living in Qatar with my wife. And we talked a lot because we kept our house in South Dartmouth on Barney's Joy Road during the time we were at RISD and then in the Middle East. We would come home for the summer and we kept thinking, well, what will we do when we come home? And it occurred to us that one of the things that it was missing from New Bedford was that all the cultural organizations, all the visual arts organizations there were largely about the history of New Bedford, artists from the region and so on, things that came from this area. And we thought it would be exciting to bring new things from outside the area here, contemporary artists and designers, to extend the tradition and the history moving forward. Of course, the Zeiterion has people from the outside coming in all the time in the performing arts, but in the visual arts, that seemed to be something we could add. And so we began talking with our friends about it. We visited with the mayor, and he encouraged us to go forward. And we put this project together.
That's wonderful. What a great gift to the city. To all of us, really.
Well, and you know, I've spent, you know, what, 60 some odd years working on behalf of bringing works of art from other places to a location in my museum career and at RISD, working with artists and designers and museum people from around the world. So something I know something about and could contribute.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for doing that. I mean, that's a real gift to a large group of people.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
You're having fun, right?
Very exciting. Very much fun for us.
Good. Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. Andy,
Thank
I'm
you.
so glad you recorded this because I think people are going to be very interested in it.
Yeah, definitely. We'll
Yeah.
spread the word about the
Yes.
recording.
I'm going to stop the recording now. So we're just going to stop it.